Good morning, wherever you are. This is the Daily Taoist podcast with Will S., the timeless wisdom of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching was written about 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless. Its message is as relevant and important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious way and become selfless. The Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves and our lives into alignment with the Tao, also known as the Way. The Te could be translated as bringing light or color to the way, and Ching means book. Today on the podcast, I'm going to be talking about verse 3 of 81. Verse 3, translated from the original Chinese, goes like this. If you overvalue status, you will create contentiousness. If you overvalue possessions, people will begin to steal. Do not display your treasures, or people will become envious. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambitions and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those that think they know. Practice non-doing, and everything will fall into place. At the start of this verse, Lao-Tzu warns that chasing after status, prestige, and possessions can have an adverse effect on us and those around us. Alas, these are arguably hallmarks of our society, which is noted in competition, acquisition, and a perpetual race for greater status, recognition, more money, bigger houses, better cars, fancier gadgets, and ever more lavish lifestyles. This leads to an imbalance where thereby emphasizing the need for more highlights the perceived lack and makes people unhappy, dissatisfied, envious, and covetous. Even those that do succeed are rarely satisfied for long because they're still locked into the mindset of striving but never arriving. The master of the Tao takes a very different stance, urging us to forsake the demented race to perpetually accumulate and acquire. He instead advises us to empty our minds and weaken our ambitions. This is the opposite of what we've been taught in our society, but by letting go of our ambitions, desires, and all things we think we need in order to be happy, we stop protecting our happiness into the future and can instead be at peace and content in the present moment now. In modern terms, perhaps what Lao-Tzu is suggesting is that we step out of the rat race, because as the joke goes, even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. He urges us to practice non-doing, allowing everything to fall into place. This is the first mention of not doing in the Tao Te Ching, and it is an important and perhaps perplexing concept. I feel that in this instant it refers to acting without being attached to results and without the need to unduly chase after unnecessary acquisitions and status. Lao-Tzu claims that if our action is, as one translation offers, pure and selfless, everything we need will come to us. Then we can be happy and at peace without always being compelled to seek more. If the Tao Te Ching is described as water, I would recommend people become the rocks in the stream and let the flow of life come to them. And that doesn't mean stand still, do nothing, or be lazy. It's that you need to have the mindset that everything in its time, and this too shall pass. So don't get hung up on the details of things. It's better to commit first and figure it out later. If you know you want something in life, or there's that thing you've been meaning to do, or that person you've been meaning to call, just do it, and everything else shall fall into place. In terms of the material possessions, there's another good song out there from the 60s and 70s called Little Boxes on the Hillside, and it talks about suburbia and what society is becoming at that time. And I would stress that it's more important to go back to nature. Cities are great, but as we've now realized in the course of this pandemic, they perhaps may not be the safest or most necessary place in the near to mid future. This essay is compliments of Rory at thedailydowblogspot.com. I will link him in the description. Thanks, Rory, whoever you are. This has been the Daily Taoist podcast with Will S. We now have a Twitter account. It's at The Daily Taoist on Twitter. If you like this content, please follow, like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Have yourself a great and prosperous day. Namaste.